The Oregon Supreme Court, a dam fail, and one of my favorite movies are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is April 14th, 2022. It is the 104th day of the year. We got 261 days left. It is the 15th Thursday in the 16th week and the 26th day of spring. Today I want to shout out Pete and his team. They watch every morning during their team meeting before they get to work. They work for business internet providers in Los Angeles. But yeah, there are like 10 or 12 people in the meetings and they all watch every single morning. So thanks, Pete. Today is National Dolphin Day. On this day, we celebrate dolphins, one of the most intelligent and friendly mammals in the world. Dolphins are mammals that belong to the same family as whales and porpoises. There have been many representations of dolphins in pop culture through books and film. Remember Flipper? I remember watching it reruns. It was made before I was born, but pretty cool show. I was shocked to find out they only made 25 episodes. Seemed like it went on forever. Anyway, dolphins can be found in many parts of the world and prefer shallow waters. They also steal females from each other. Yeah, if you've got two bachelor male dolphins, they'll go to another pod and basically corral one of the females and usher her along with them and kind of take them from the other pod so they could start their own pod. All right, let's see what else April 14th has given us. 1561, a celestial phenomenon is reported over Nuremberg, described as an aerial battle. They don't know what it really was. Could have been a natural gas leak for all we know. It was 1561. Or maybe everyone got a hold of some bad mushrooms. 1865, U.S. Secretary of State William H. Seward and his family are attacked at home by Lewis Powell. Not a lot of people know that on this day, President Lincoln was shot at the Ford Theater by John Wilkes Booth, but it wasn't just him. It was a plot to basically take down the U.S. government. April 14th, 1865 was basically the tail end of the Civil War, and Lincoln's assassination was part of a larger conspiracy intended by John Wilkes Booth and his co-conspirators Lewis Powell, also known as Lewis Payne, David Harold, and George Azeroth. One other person got caught up in this. Her name was Mary Surratt. There's a little debate on how much she was really involved. She actually owned a boarding house where these men were staying while their plot was going. It originally started off as a kidnapping plot. They were going to kidnap Lincoln, but when Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, they changed it from a kidnapping plot to an assassination. So John Wilkes Booth was the main guy of this conspiracy, and he decided he'd be the one that would shoot President Lincoln, which he did, famously. We all know about that. But Lewis Powell and David Harold were assigned to kill Secretary of State William H. Seward. George Azeroth was going to kill the Vice President, Andrew Johnson, but he lost his nerve, got drunk, and decided to wander the streets of Washington, D.C. After the assassination, it came to light that he was staying at the same hotel as Andrew Johnson at the time, and had been asking a lot of questions. They started piecing things together, and then he had been seen throwing a weapon down a drain or something like that by some woman. She alerted the police, they recovered the knife, and arrested him. Beyond Lincoln's death, the plot failed. Seward was only wounded, and Johnson's would-be attacker, like I said, got drunk and lost his nerve. After a dramatic initial escape, Booth was killed at the climax of a 12-day chase. Powell, Harold, and Azeroth, along with Mary Surratt, were later hanged for their roles in the conspiracy. Mary Surratt being the first woman ever put to death by the federal government. 1890, the Pan American Union is founded by the first International Conference of American States in Washington, D.C. 1894, the first commercial motion picture house opens in New York City using 10 kinetoscopes. This was a device for peep show viewing of films. 1908, the Hauser Dam, a steel dam on the Missouri River in Montana, fails, sending a surge of water 25 to 30 feet high downstream. 1935, the Black Sunday dust storm, considered one of the worst storms of the Dust Bowl, sweeps across Oklahoma and Texas. 1891, STS-1, the first operational space shuttle Columbia, completes its first test flight. 1988, USS Samuel B. Roberts strikes a mine in the Persian Gulf during Operation Earnest Will. 2003, the Human Genome Project is completed with 99% of human genomes sequenced in an accuracy of 99.99%. 2005, the Oregon Supreme Court nullifies marriage licenses issued to same-sex couples a year earlier by Multnomah County. This is very interesting because, Oregon's very liberal, especially Multnomah County. That's on the west side of the state where Portland is and all that. You would think they would be perfectly fine with this, which they were in Multnomah County, just the rest of the state really wasn't on board with it, and they put a kibosh to it. Very strange for as liberal as Oregon is to do something like that. And if you think Oregon just got liberal like in the last few years, no, it's been going on since I'd say about the early 90s, at least the west side of the state. Movies released on April 14th, 2006. Thank You for Smoking. This was such a good movie. Such a good movie. A satirical black comedy about Big Tobacco's top lobbyist, who uses heavy spin tactics on behalf of the tobacco industry. He struggles to explain his work to his 12-year-old son throughout the movie. The film is based on the 1994 satirical novel of the same name by Christopher Buckley. So there's a great scene where the father, who is a lobbyist for the tobacco industry, who's Aaron Eckhart in the movie, but his son, he has to go to his career day at school and talk about what career he's in. And as he walks in, his son knows he's just this fast-talking pitch man, basically. And he goes by, he smiles at his son, gives him a wave. His son mouths, "Don't ruin my childhood." It was great. Great movie. It's got William H. Macy, Aaron Eckhart, like I said, Kim Dickens, J.K. Simmons, Robert Duvall, Maria Bello. It's a great movie if you ever get a chance. Born on April 14th, 1995, Baker Mayfield. He is the, ex-Cleveland Browns quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He had a bad year last year. They haven't cut him, but they got someone to take the number 1 spot from him. In 2017, he was the Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Oklahoma. He was also a finalist for the award the previous year. He was selected first overall in the 2018 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns. An interesting story. He was a walk-on at Texas Tech before transferring to Oklahoma. If you don't know what a walk-on is, he doesn't get a scholarship. They didn't invite him. He just went to an open tryout for the football team. And he got on, became a really good quarterback for them, and then he eventually moved on to Oklahoma because he had poor communication with the coaches and there was issues with his scholarship. He was born in Austin, Texas, and his parents are James and Gina, just like me and my wife. Died on April 14th, 1964, Rachel Carson, American environmentalist who played a leading role in the 20th century environmental movement. Her influential 1962 book, Silent Spring, led to the reversal in national pesticide policy, which in turn led to a nationwide ban on DDT and other pesticides. DDT was some nasty stuff. I had to do a paper on it when I was in high school, and I just remember reading it going, why, how did this not get banned long before it did? She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Jimmy Carter after her death. She was weakened by breast cancer and the different treatments she was on. She had a respiratory virus. The condition kept getting worse. She was suffering from anemia because of the radiation, and they finally discovered that cancer had reached her liver. She died of a heart attack soon after that. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.